him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters. And in a new interview with Classic Rock, Bruce Dickinson recalls an old jab at thrash metal legends Metallica. The gobby prick happened back in 1999 at a band's manager Rod Smallwood's house, where Dickinson was attempting to convince Steve Harris to let him rejoin Iron Maiden after Blaze Bayley's firing. Described the meeting, Dickinson said, Steve was very suspicious. He said, "Why do you want to come back?" I actually said, "I want to come back, Steve, because in the words of my mates, the world needs Iron Maiden. And secondly, I think we can make amazing music." Added by the interview, if he felt that Maiden needed Dickinson as much as Dickinson needed Maiden, the singer replied, "Probably, but there was no point in saying that because it would have sounded like sour grapes. What I said was, we will sweep away the past by doing an amazing future," Dickinson recalls. Though, the first words out of my gooby mouth were, "Of course we are better than Metallica." And people said, "You can't say that." And I said, "I just did." And then they started going, "Hey, maybe he's right." He says, "You gotta have that attitude though. It's like Mick Jagger didn't get to be Mick Jagger by sitting there apologetically saying, 'Oh, we're quite good, you know. We're almost as good as the Beatles.'" I almost told them that we are not just to do greatest hits albums. We are going to do a new album that will be great. And it was. Brave New World in 2000 really delivered. So suddenly we're off to the races again. All right. Yeah. A lot of people love Brave New World, so he is right. I'm not a fan of that album, but a lot of people love that album, so he is right about that. As far as Metallica, hey man, a lot of people. I'm sure most of my viewers out there would pick Iron Maiden over Metallica. Now, would I pick Iron Maiden over Metallica? Well, yeah, with Paul Di'Anno. I think those first two Maiden albums are better than anything Metallica did. That's how I feel. But, no. With Bruce Dickinson, no. I'll put the first three Metallica albums over anything Maiden did with Bruce Dickinson. But, you know, I mean, after Master of Puppets, I'd give a lot of, you know, a lot of points to Maiden, man. But, that's just how I feel. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of Bruce fans out there. And before the internet, I always felt the way I do now. It's like, man, I discovered Iron Maiden in 1980. They were my band. Then Killers came out, totally blew my mind. Loved it. Then when Number of the Beast came out, I still loved it. Don't get me wrong, but I did not think it was better than the two albums prior. I just always felt that way. And the same could be said with Peace of Mind, which I love, and Power Slave, which I love. I love those three albums with Bruce Dickinson, but I think the first two, with Di'Anno and Clive Burr and Dennis Stratton on the first album, Adrian Smith on Killers, I would say that definitely that is better than Metallica. Bruce has always had this little, you know, thing with Metallica. I'm sure he gets along fine with them, but even back then in the 80s, in the press, when Metallica started to take off, Bruce was doing, like, you know, he was saying negative stuff about Metallica. I remember there was a picture in a magazine of him breaking, I believe, with a hammer or something, like messing up a Metallica CD. I think it was Ride the Lightning. And, yeah, he always had it out for Metallica because, you know, Metallica pretty much came and wiped them out. Seriously, popularity-wise, by the time Master of Puppets came, you know, they were starting to hurt, man. Yeah, I know a lot of you love Seventh Son, but it wasn't a huge hit in the States. It was huge in England and elsewhere, but it wasn't as big as what Master of Puppets was doing. And believe me, at that time, with Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son, you know, I already like gave up on Maiden. I gave up on Ozzy at the time, and Judas Priest. They all went a little fluffy. Where bands like Metallica, and you know, and Slayer, and Venom, and all these underground bands were picking up the slack all these old school killer bands, you know, left. You know, I mean, they just weren't that great anymore. You know, I mean, some of them got great again, but that period in the 80s, man, thrash was needed badly. And the underground stuff like Merciful Fate and King Diamond, Voivod, all this great special, you know, bands that are picking up the slack and taking metal to where it needs to go. It does not need to go with makeup and turbo lovers and stuff like that in my world. Now, I know a lot of you out there like all that stuff, and that's cool. But I'm not like you, all right? You're not like me. So I like heavy metal. I grew up on heavy metal, and then when heavy metal started to get a little fluffy because of Theater of Pain, you ever notice that after Motley Crue's Theater of Pain, all these killer bands I love were getting all glammy and stuff. And I just didn't like it. Well, Maiden didn't really go glammy, but their music changed a lot with the guitar synthesizer. It just didn't have that fire that I love from the first 5 Maiden albums. But, like I said, man, as much as I love Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and Power Slave, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets, I think all are better than those Dickinson albums. And I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of people out there think like me, and you will see it in the comments below. And then there's people that totally disagree with me. Love Brave New World. Love Dickinson and Maiden way more than Metallica. And that's awesome. I want you all to leave comments below, man. I love reading stuff. Even if it's a different opinion than mine, I appreciate reading that. And, you know, now after the 80s, what's it been? Like almost 40 years? 30 somewhat years of Bruce Dickinson starting to complain about Metallica. Well, in the long run, Metallica has won the popularity contest, right? But you gotta hand it to Maiden, man. They still sell out stadiums in, you know, South America, but Metallica sells out stadiums everywhere, including America. Iron Maiden, I don't think has ever played a stadium in America. They're an arena band here. And but Metallica is just the biggest metal band ever. And I can think of, you know, at least, I don't know, 10, 20 metal bands I like more than Metallica, but none of them are as popular as Metallica is. And they got their share of haters, man, and it's very trendy to hate on Metallica. I'm not too crazy about 72 Seasons. I loved Hardwired, but I didn't like anything before that since Master of Puppets, really. So I'm not like this Metallica fanatic and stuff like that. But I dig those first 3 albums. When it comes to the Cliff Burton years, yeah, I'm fanatical. Definitely fanatical about the first 3 albums. And, you know, a lot of stuff they did afterwards I didn't like. It's like, oh, screw them. But you know what? It will not taint those first 3 albums for me. Ever. The first band to do a full-on thrash album, their debut. It's just an amazing band in the 80s. I absolutely love Metallica. And rest in peace, Cliff Burton. So, thank you all for watching The Only News That Matters. Leave your comments below how you feel. Do you like Dickinson more than Diano? Do you like Maiden more than Metallica with Bruce? Leave it in the comments below. I love reading stuff like that. And hey, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. That shit would be awesome if you do that, because I only have cool people subscribe to my channel. And you are cool, so you should subscribe. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.